Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. Today we're going to be exploring the book of James.
Oh, the Book of James, huh?
Yeah. This book is a letter, actually,
Mm-hmm.
from James. Most scholars think it was James, the brother of Jesus,
Right,
to the
right.
early Christians, and it's all about putting your faith into action.
Yeah, and this is a book that a lot of people I find, even if they're not, super familiar with the Bible, they've heard this phrase, faith without works is dead, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's like that's the big takeaway from
It
James, right?
is, it is.
But so we only have a short summary to work with today, but I think even with that, we can get some really good stuff out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, one of the first things that jumps out at me, and I think this is where that phrase comes from, is this idea that faith and works, they're like two sides of the same coin,
Yeah, you can't have one without the other. James is really emphasizing that true faith isn't just about believing, it's about doing.
right? It's about action. He's saying, okay, you say you believe,
Yeah.
but how are you living that out?
Exactly. And I think a good parallel to modern life might be, someone who says they care about the environment,
Oh, yeah.
but they never recycle, they drive a gas guzzler, they don't conserve energy, their actions don't match their words.
Yeah. It's like you're saying one thing, but doing another.
Yeah.
That hypocrisy, right?
Exactly. And James is calling that out. He's saying that kind of faith is empty.
It's dead, yeah. And he doesn't shy away from that strong language.
No, he doesn't. He's
Yeah.
very direct. He's like a spiritual coach,
Yeah.
pushing us to be better.
I love that, a spiritual coach. And I think that kind of leads into the next thing that really stands out to me, which is his teaching on trials and temptations.
Yeah, this is a big one. And I think it's something we can all relate to, right? Life is full of challenges.
Oh, absolutely.
But James's perspective on this is so interesting. He doesn't tell us to avoid trials. He actually encourages us to face them head on. He says that going through difficult times can actually make our faith stronger.
It's like that saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Exactly. And James even uses the analogy of gold being refined in fire.
I love that image.
It's such a powerful metaphor, right? Because it shows that even in the midst of intense heat and pressure, something beautiful and valuable can emerge.
It makes me think about a time when I was going through a really tough breakup. It was really painful at the time, but looking back, I can see how much I grew from that experience. I learned about my own resilience, and I had to lean on my faith in a way that I hadn't before.
It's like that fire refined you. It brought out those qualities that maybe weren't as visible before.
Yeah. And that's what James is saying, right? That these trials, these temptations, they can be opportunities for growth.
Absolutely. And he even says, consider it all joy, my brothers, when you encounter various trials.
Wow. All joy. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a radical perspective, right? But he's saying that if we can shift our mindset and see these challenges as opportunities, we can actually find joy in the midst of them.
Because we know that we're being refined. We're becoming stronger.
Exactly. And then there's another really practical piece of advice that James gives, and this one hits home for me. It's about controlling the tongue.
Ooh, yeah, that's a big one.
James understood the power of words, and he was very aware of how much damage can be done with careless speech.
I mean, he even goes so far as to say that the tongue is a fire.
Right, a fire that can set a whole forest ablaze. And I think in today's world, with social media and the internet, this message is even more relevant.
Oh, absolutely. Words can spread like wildfire online.
And they can have a lasting impact. So James is urging us to be mindful of what we say, to avoid gossip, lies, harsh words, all of that.
It's about speaking with intention and kindness, right?
Exactly. And I think this ties back to that idea of putting your faith into action. If you believe in love and compassion, then let your words reflect that.
Yeah, it's about walking the walk, not just talking the talk. And then I think the final key theme that I wanted to touch on is this idea of humility and submission to God.
This is a really important one. And I think it can be a little challenging for some people
Oh, yeah.
because it's about recognizing that we don't have all the answers.
And letting go of control, right?
Exactly. It's about surrendering to something bigger than ourselves.
And trusting in God's plan, even when we don't understand it.
Yes. And James encourages us to approach life with a posture of humility, seeking God's guidance in all that we do.
It's about recognizing that we're not in charge, God is.
Right. And that can be a really liberating realization, actually, because it takes the pressure off of us to have it all figured out.
So, to kind of recap, the book of James is really a call to action. It's about putting our faith into practice in tangible ways. It's about choosing kindness, persevering through trials, controlling our speech, and ultimately surrendering to God.
Beautifully said. And it's a message that I think we can all benefit from, regardless of our background or beliefs.
So as we end our deep dive into James, I want to leave you with this. What area of your life could use a little more action to match your beliefs?
Ooh, that's a good one.
What small step can you take today to put your faith into practice? It's a question worth pondering.
Definitely something to think about.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive.